Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, in recounting the story of Superman's most unusual adventure, Clark Kent reveals how he was finally contacted by the faithful Poco and started off on the trail of the missing Jimmy Olsen.
This is Superman, gang. And here's someone I want you to meet. Rear Admiral Reginald R. Belknap, USN, retired.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. And thank you, Superman. I am the chairman of the Laymen's National Committee, a non-sectarian religious organization that tries to make sure that children of all races and creeds get the wonderful advantages offered by our churches. This is National Sunday School Week, a very good time to recognize all the good the Superman show does to promote the principles of right living. Superman shows us all how to live the golden rule, how to help and protect those who need it. And so, I now present the Layman National Committee's citation to the Superman program as the best children's program of the year.
Thank you, Admiral Belknap. The whole Superman staff is very grateful for this honor.
Yes, and I want to add the thanks of the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Pep. Naturally, Kellogg is proud of the Superman show and its contribution to our good American way of life. And Pep is part of that good, wholesome way of life, a good cereal that's good, wholesome eating for growing boys and girls. That's Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal.
Now, the adventures of Superman. In recounting the story of Superman's most unusual experience, Clark Kent told how Jimmy Olsen was taken to the planet Utopia by Anthar and Poco, two men of the little-known planet, and how, upon their arrival, Jimmy and Anthar were captured and sentenced to death by Saram, the cruel regent. Now, Kent continues with his story.
Meanwhile, here in Metropolis, I received a news report of a huge white plastic ball that had fallen out of the skies into the heart of the city. What's more, its sole occupant, a little fat man wearing strange clothes and silver bells on his wrists and ankles, was reported to have called for me several times before he lost consciousness. As soon as I heard that, I rushed over to the hospital where I was surprised to find my editor, Perry White, waiting for me.
Hello, Kent. The office told me you were on your way over.
Oh?
And while I was waiting, I found out where he is.
You mean the funny little guy they took out of that flying ball?
That's right. He's on the third floor.
Good. Hope he's still alive and that he can tell us where to find Jim.
Are you kidding?
No. Come on upstairs to his room. Oh, Doctor, my name is Clark Kent. And
Kent?
Yes. I understand the patient in 306 was asking for me.
Yes, he was indeed, ever since he came to. I'm glad you've come.
Well, may we see him now?
Yes, but before I take you to him, I want to warn you that he's a little strange. Speaks only in a sort of odd-rhymed double talk, I suppose you might call it.
Poor fellow. Suffered a concussion, eh?
No, surprisingly enough, we don't find him suffering from anything more serious than a sprained ankle. Now, if you'll follow me, please, I'll take you to him. Here you are, gentlemen.
Thank you, Doctor.
Not at all.
Oh, hurry. It's worry.
Listen to that. Come on in, Chief.
If you, sirs, are Mr. Kent and Mr. White, you are indeed a welcome sight.
Well,
Yes, I'm Clark Kent, and this is Mr. White. Suppose you tell us who you are.
No, I am Poco by name, a jester by fame.
A jester of all the...
Now, wait, just a minute, Chief. Poco, could you tell us where you come from?
Oh, yes. I come from Utopia, and the story I bring is nothing short of frightening.
What story?
Yes, get to the facts, if they are facts.
Oh, very well. Since yours are the names given me by my good friend James.
James? You mean Jim Olsen?
No, 'tis true, I do.
Well, what happened to Jim? Where is he?
With poor James, alas, all is not well. He is lying now in a guarded cell.
What? Go on, Poco.
Yes. He waits his fate behind iron bars on the planet Utopia, close to Mars.
Oh, now cut out that rhyming double talking, for heaven's sakes. Tell us what...
Do you think on lies I'd waste my breath while James is in prison, sentenced to death?
Sentenced to death?
What for?
He was, on Utopia, convicted as a spy. And for that, Zaram has condemned him to die.
Great Caesar.
Zaram? Who is Zaram?
Zaram is regent who rules our land. All life and death are in his hand.
How can we help Jimmy, Poco?
By telling me quickly, if you can, where can I contact Superman?
What do you want with Superman?
Oh, to save poor James and Anthar, too, from death at the hand of Zaram's crew.
Now, look, Poco.
We can't hold everything. What? Now, come here. I want to talk to you.
Excuse me, Poco.
Oh, worry. Hurry.
What's eating you, Chief?
Levy, I think this character's giving us a phony story.
Oh, now,
What's
look.
more, I think he's part of a gang that kidnapped Jimmy, and now they're trying
Wait a minute. How can you say that when this man's description, the projectile he arrived in, and his story about coming from Utopia all jibe with what an eyewitness to Jimmy's disappearance told us?
You believe all that?
I have no reason to disbelieve it yet.
And I say you're as wacky as he seems to be.
Gentlemen, I beg you do not delay. Each moment we waste speeds James' life away.
Let's see, Chief. Tell me, Poco, for the sake of some who may be doubtful, have you any way of proving
Oh,
that...
yes, Mr. Kent, Mr. White. I can prove that I am right.
Yeah, how?
Oh, look. From around my neck, I take a string. And from this string, I take a ring.
Let's see that.
Chief, that's Jimmy's high school ring.
Yes, it is. But how do we know he didn't steal it from Jim?
Oh, I swear I did not steal the ring. Oh, why do you question everything? When, unless you help me, Mr. White, well, James, your friend, will die tonight.
I've heard enough. Kent, I think this is a job for Inspector Henderson.
No, wait, Chief.
Nothing doing. I'm going to call
Be
him right
reasonable,
now.
Chief. How are the police going to help Jim when he's on another planet?
I don't believe he is on another planet.
Oh, that he is, I swear upon my pelf. And I took him there with Anthar myself.
Oh, you did, eh? Why?
And we took James with us so he'd understand the danger that threatens your native land.
What are you saying, Poco?
Oh, it's true. Believe me, it's true.
Oh, cut it out.
What's true?
That Zaram is said to come with armies, the Earth to invade.
Oh, no.
And the way is all clear. His plans are all made.
You took Jimmy along with you to prove that to him?
Yes. And Zaram caught James and Anthar, too. And tonight, alas, their end is due.
Oh, for Pete's sake, stop saying that.
Oh, then call for Superman, I implore. Lord, shortly James will be no more.
Great Jupiter.
Tell me, Poco, is the time on Utopia the same as it is here?
No, it's 4 hours late. And when it's 4 o'clock here, there it is 8.
And we have only 2 hours before sunset on Utopia, the time set for the execution. Look, Poco, do you know how to get back to Utopia?
Now, wait a minute.
The path is clear through the stratosphere with the aid of this solar compass here.
Kent, for heaven's sake.
That little box, Poco, is that what you call a solar compass?
Yes. And that is what, to use, I plan to chart the course for Superman.
Okay, I'll take you up on that, Poco.
You'll take him out.
I mean Superman will.
Superman. Where are you going to find him?
You're going to find him, Chief.
I am.
Yes. Remember the last time we had to find Superman? You broadcast for him over the Daily Planet radio when he showed up?
Yes, but...
Well, you're going to do it again.
Oh, I am I? Now, you listen here.
Don't argue,
Don't
Chief.
you...
We've got less than 2 hours to save Jim's life, so get over to the radio studio and start broadcasting for him right away.
No, this is crazy. It's ridiculous.
Don't waste time arguing. Will you get going? Hurry. Whew. Thought I'd never get rid of him. Now, back here behind this screen where Poco can't see me, and out of these clothes quickly.
Mr. White, Mr. Kent. Oh, where can they be? Why have they both deserted me?
Well, I do, Poco.
Oh, you, sir, in cape of red and costume blue. Will you tell me, please, who are you?
I'm Superman. I understand you want to see me.
Oh, no. No, this good fortune. It cannot be. I don't dare believe you are really he.
Yes, I'm Superman, all right. Now, Kent said your solar compass would show us the way to Utopia, right?
If the stars prevail, it cannot fail.
All right, up in my arms with you. There. Are you comfortable?
Oh, yes. Well, here's the compass. Hold it tight. If we lose it...
It's good night.
Right.
Well, here goes then. Up with this window. Now, out. Up and away! Leaping out the window with Poco under my arm, I rocketed straight up into the sky, bound for Utopia and what was perhaps the strangest adventure of my career since arriving on Earth from Krypton. But if I had anticipated an easy trip to Utopia, I was doomed to disappointment, for I soon learned differently.
In just a moment, we'll return for the thrilling climax of today's episode in Clark Kent's exciting story. So keep listening. Now we return to Clark Kent's story of Superman's most unusual adventure.
With Poco clinging tightly to me, I shot up into the sky like a rocket, and soon we had gone beyond the stratosphere into the vast empty reaches of space, where the crackling natural electricity and lack of what we know as atmosphere made the going extremely difficult.
Hold up here, Poco. Better stay under my cape.
Oh, but it feels good to fly. Up higher than the sky.
What's that? Solar compass?
Oh, dear. Oh, Superman, oh, dear. That means we are lost, I fear.
Lost? What do you mean?
Oh, this means we left Earth too soon. We should have waited till the clock struck noon.
Why? What difference does that make?
Oh, can't you see? It's because the compass is set at a certain place. And when we left too soon, we became lost in space.
Uh-oh, that's bad. Pretty rugged up here, even for me. Getting worse all the time.
Oh, the fault is mine. I'm a stupid fool. I should have remembered the solar rule.
Too late for that now, Poco. Just hang on and hope for the best.
Unmercifully buffeted by the elements and apparently lost in space, I continued to struggle and fight with all the power I could muster in an effort to get through to Jimmy Olsen. But as the moments sped by, my chances and Poco's seemed to get slimmer and slimmer.
How did Superman manage to fight his way through space in time to save Jimmy Olsen from execution on Utopia? Well, all we can tell you now is that the Man of Steel's great powers were tested like never before, and that both he and Jimmy were nearly destroyed on Utopia until this experience was over. So don't miss tomorrow's episode in Clark Kent's thrilling story of The Mystery of the Lost Planet, Superman's most unusual adventure. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman. And now, the adventures of Superman. In recounting the story of Superman's most unusual adventure, Clark Kent has already told us how Poco, the little fat man who speaks in rhyme, flew to Earth from the planet Utopia to enlist Superman's aid in an effort to save Jimmy Olsen from a death sentence to which he had been condemned. Now, Kent continues.
As Superman, I rocketed into the sky with Poco under my arm, and soon we were in space, far beyond the stratosphere. The going became extremely rough. Then, calling on all the power at my command, I struggled and fought onward, managed to make very little headway against the terrific natural electricity and other elements in space, which buffeted and tossed us around like corks on a raging sea.
Oh, dear. It's useless, Superman. Please save yourself if you can.
Now, don't talk like that, Poco.
Oh, but we are lost in endless sky. Save yourself and let me die.
Nonsense. We're not licked yet. What a space shell can do, I can do.
Oh, I wish to heaven what you say were true. But we're out of the channel we should be traveling through.
Channel? What do you mean?
Well, only once every 6 hours there's a channel through space in which one can rocket from place to place.
So that's it. Well, we'll just have to... Great Scott. Get out of my Poco. Here comes a comet or something.
Oh, grief, oh, gloom. No, this spells our doom.
Under my cloak, I said.
Struck by the rushing, flaming meteor, a white-hot ball of molten metal, I shuddered, fought to retain my equilibrium, then losing out began to fall, my body limp, but my arms clinging by some instinct to the terror-stricken Poco. Then a violent shudder passed through my body, and I painfully lifted my head from my chest. From what seemed at first like a great distance, I heard a voice. It was Poco.
Oh, Superman, did we survive? Tell me, are we alive?
Yes, Poco. We're alive, all right. Now we've got to find Utopia. Where is that solar compass of yours?
No, it is here, but I fear...
Thanks. Now, let's see. All right. The needle points this way, up and to the right. Away!
Struggling, battling as I had never battled before, throwing my strangely weakened body again and again at the raging, pitiless elements, I fought for survival and for the lives of my friends. Meanwhile, I learned later, on the planet Utopia, Jimmy Olsen and Anthar, their wrists bound behind them, were standing in the walled courtyard behind the palace of Zaram, Utopia's regent. Armed guards stood alertly near, and Zaram himself, a gloating smile on his bony, hawk-beaked face, strolled back and forth between his prisoners and a huge stone table at which laborers were working.
Say, what are they doing over at that table, Anthar?
They prepare the space shell for us, friend James.
The space shell?
Yes, the one in which we are doomed to be sealed and then projected into eternal space.
Gee whiz. It's sort of like watching our graves being dug, isn't it?
Yes, it amuses Zaram to make us observe the proceedings.
Dirty dog. With a nasty smile on his face. Well, don't worry. He'll get his when he tries to invade the Earth.
Perhaps, but I fear he will be successful.
Are you kidding? The armies and navies and air forces of the United Nations on Earth will make a monkey out of him.
You forget something, friend James.
What's that?
All the nations on Earth are not yet fully united and prepared for defense against even the simple common foes they have to fight now.
But they're working on it.
That is not enough.
Oh, boy. If you're right, Anthar, I deserve what Zaram's going to do to me.
Why do you say that?
Because you told me all this in Metropolis. You begged me to try to find Superman. But I was a wise guy. I just laughed at you.
You cannot be blamed for doubting me, so do not reproach yourself.
Oh, don't kid me. I know now I'm the world's prized dope.
Hush. Zaram approaches.
Be patient, my friends. In but a few moments, your new home will be completed.
You low-down rat.
I see the young man has not yet lost his courage, eh?
You bet I haven't. When you get down there, you'll find the same goes for other Earth people.
Their courage will avail of as little as yours does now. Earthmen shall fall before me like flies.
You'll never see that day,
Silence!
Sock me when my hands are tied, huh? That's the kind of a skunk you are.
Open your mouth again, insolent puppy. You'll be placed in the shell without your tongue.
You act the coward, Zaram.
Really, Anthar? Anthar, the great patriot. Anthar, the beloved president of Utopia's Senate. What say the people of you now, foolish one?
It matters not what they say now, for in time the truth will out.
Bravo, Anthar, bravo.
You are foolish, Zaram, to believe you can make yourself safe by doing away with all men of honor and courage. For somehow enough of them always remain to destroy you at last. You will learn that even as Hitler and other tyrants learned it.
That's telling them.
Anthar, you lived as a fool, and now you die as one. I would have a verse on that. Where is my jester, Poco? Poco! Poco! Where is Poco?
Gee whiz.
Where is he,
Maybe
I
Poco
say?
got to Metropolis and found Superman. Maybe he's on his way back here with Superman right now.
I wish it was so, but that is no longer possible.
Why?
I have computed the solar time, and the last period was at noon of your time, which is 4 p.m. of ours. If Poco had arrived safely in Metropolis, found Superman, and returned with him at the last period, they would have been here shortly after 4 p.m. But it is now 5:30, so you see...
Yeah. Look, when's the next time they can travel?
At 6 p.m. Metropolis time, by which time we shall long since have been shattered in space.
Oh, I see.
Sire, the shell is prepared.
Good. Guards! Fetch the prisoner.
Uh-oh. Here they come for us, Anthar.
Yes, this is the end. Once more, I say how I regret being responsible for this, friend James.
It wasn't your fault. You did the right thing, I guess.
Grasped roughly by Zaram's guards, Jimmy and Anthar were marched toward a spherical shell, near which workmen stood by, ready to seal it as soon as the prisoners had been let down through an open hatch. And at that time, Poco and I were just approaching the orbit of Utopia.
In just a moment, we'll return for the startling climax in today's episode of Clark Kent's story. So keep listening. Now, back to Clark Kent's thrilling story of Superman's most unusual adventure.
As Jimmy Olsen and Anthar were being led to the space shell into which they were to be sealed and hurtled off into space, Poco and I emerged into the orbit of Utopia. Spent from my great struggle with the elements, I was grateful for the gravitational pull which had begun to pull me down to a planet that was barely visible through the mists and vapors.
Well, I see land far below, Poco. And if this compass is right, it should be Utopia.
Oh, hooray and praise the day. I hope and pray it's as you say.
Great Scott. Look, Poco, didn't you tell me Anfar and Jimmy would be executed at sunset in the capital of Utopia?
Oh, yes, yes.
Well, I see a courtyard down there.
Oh, great space. What you see must be the Regency.
Sun's rays are beginning to leave that spot. And... Wait a minute. There's Jim. He's being forced into a space shell. Down to him. Faster. Down.
At the sight of what was happening to Jimmy, I caught my second wind and zoomed down toward Utopia like a projectile shot from a rocket gun. A few minutes later, I landed in the middle of a startled group of Utopians. Letting go of Poco, I called out to Jimmy and started toward him.
Jim! Jimmy!
Jeepers, it's Superman.
Great space. Stand back, everyone. Stand back or... All right.
Superman.
Oh.
What's the matter?
I don't know, Jim. I can't move.
Unaware that I was held by the tremendous force of gravity on Utopia, I thought perhaps I had been stricken with a form of paralysis, and great beads of perspiration broke out on my face as I strained my every muscle to the utmost in a vain effort to move. And one thought kept racing through my mind. Had I come through that terrible ordeal with the elements, only to fail Jimmy now? Never before had I felt so helpless and frustrated.
And this, gang, is only the beginning of a strange series of things that happened to the Man of Steel on Utopia, as Clark Kent will reveal in Monday's episode of his story of Superman's most unusual adventure, the mystery of the lost planet. So don't fail to be with us again Monday. Same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.